Number one is don't be so inviting. All right, you planted a garden and the objective is to keep the rabbits out because you want to eat the food, not the rabbits. This is not, you're not feeding rabbits. They can find food somewhere else. So how do you keep the rabbits out of the garden? Well, you don't invite them in. But you're not inviting them in. You're not putting up a sign that says, "Welcome rabbits. Please help yourself to my vegetables, to my tomatoes, my carrots, whatever you got in your garden." So how are you inviting the rabbits in? Well, you're inviting them in simply by not putting up barriers that keep them out. To a rabbit, through a rabbit's eyes, the rabbit sees that as an invitation. Help yourself to my garden. That's your invition. So how do you not be inviting to a narcissist? Well, what you do is you build a fence around your personal life. That is not very inviting because you don't want narcissists to feel free just to come in anytime they want to. And when they see that you don't have those barriers, those walls in place, in their minds, they translate that as an invitation. They see that as an invitation to crash your party or to raid your garden. They see you as being gullible, as vulnerable. You're low-hanging fruit, using a lot of analogies here, but yeah, one of the ways that you can starve out a narcissist is don't invite him in the first place. Don't be so gullible. Don't be so inviting. Now, let's imagine, I used this illustration in another video earlier, but what happens if you put a fence around your garden and the rabbit is already in the garden? And you wonder, how is the rabbit getting in my garden? You forget that, you put up the fence too late. The best time to put up a fence to protect your garden is at the very beginning, the very onset. Now, for you and me, a lot of times we did that too late. The narcissist was already in our lives. Still, we had to begin building barriers. So we had to start the inside and start working the rabbit out, getting that person out of our lives. But either way, number one remains, don't be so inviting. Well, number two is this: look for signs of covert narcissism. Got to look for the signs. I did an entire video on this. You're going to want to watch that. But number one, the one way you can detect a narcissist is simply by watching how he or she treats other people. I mean, in the present real time. If this person is trash talking other people, if they are on a smear campaign destroying somebody else, convincing you that this other person is the bad guy, guess what? You are the flying monkey. If they are doing that, keep this in mind. If they are trash talking others to you, they will trash talk you to others. That is a clear sign. Now, that was number one in the other video. Number two in that video was not that they're doing it now, but that they've done it in the past. And if you take two of those and combine them together, then you can see this person is ripping off other people or trash talking them or whatever now. And there is a record or history of them doing that in the past. They just got into your garden, and you need to get them out of there. So look for signs, and again, we did a whole video on this, you need to watch it, but look for signs that this person could possibly be a covert narcissist who is just playing you. Number three is don't get attached to anybody right off the bat. Now, you may be saying, Ken, you may be asking, Ken, do you not believe in love at first sight? Yeah, I believe in love at first sight, and I think sometimes it can work out. But the problem is you don't know at the very onset. So you got to do some test driving. You ever bought a new car? What did you do? You just take it looks good. You take the salesman's word for it. I don't think you would do that. What you do with a car is you take it out, drive around the block, a couple times, make sure that it stops when it's supposed to stop, make sure it goes when it's supposed to go, make sure it turns the way it's supposed to turn, make sure you don't hear any noises under the hood or anything that's disconcerting. And even then, after you buy the car, it could still have problems that you didn't detect when you did the test drive. So when you get into relationships with other people, before you get too attached, I'm not saying that love at first sight can't be real. Just like you see a car on a car lot, you say that is the perfect car. Maybe it is. Maybe it doesn't have any brake problems. Maybe the carburetor is in perfect shape. Maybe it doesn't have a hole in the gas tank. Maybe nothing is wrong with it whatsoever. I mean, that happens. I can't think of it ever happening, but it could happen, and it could happen. This person that you were infatuated with could be the real deal. I mean, it can happen. And it could be this person that you think is, man, so nice. This is going to be my buddy for life. Maybe it's real, but still, you got to test it. So what we're saying is, don't get attached to anyone before you experience them. Find out whether or not it is the real deal, because I know we all like to think that we have so much insight. We're so clever. I mean, we've done this before. Yeah, we're fully confident. That's what the narcissist is looking for. Somebody who doesn't check their gullibility. Again, I'm speaking from experience, nearly 70 years old. How I wish I had known this 50, 60 years ago. Check your gullibility. Check it. Make sure that you're not inviting, that you've got the fence around your garden before you plant the first seed. Then the rabbits, the narcissist, can't get in. Number 3 is you don't get attached to anybody. Love at first sight, maybe, but make sure before you commit to it. Number 4 is this: question their loyalty. This is kind of similar, to number 3 with this one difference. When we talk about questioning somebody's loyalty, what we find with a narcissist is during that love bombing stage, that grooming stage, they are very adept at paying you compliments. Maybe it's a business associate, and they just admire your business acumen. How amazing! I mean, they've worked with other people before, and you're just head and shoulders above everyone else they've ever worked with. It's just amazing. You know what they're doing is they're pretending to be loyal. Or if it's a love interest, you have much the same thing. You're just the person we're looking for. But you got to test that, Maybe they're sincere. Maybe they're honest. Maybe you do have good business acumen. Maybe this person really thinks that you are all that. I mean, you're just the perfect person for them. You could be, very possibly could be, but you got to question those compliments, because that is something always the narcissist will do. And I got to remind you that I did a video on these signs, of how to tell a narcissist. And the number 1 sign, really this is the only sign you need, is to check, check how they treat other people. And number 2 is check how they treated other people in the past. And if they abused others, and if they are abusing others, and you think that you're exempt because, well, this person likes you, guess what? That's not loyalty. That is, to me, that is obviously fake loyalty. They're just pretending. Could there be exceptions? I've never seen any. Not to say that, okay, maybe you are the exception, but the chances of that are so minuscule as to say it's mathematically impossible, in my humble opinion. So check their loyalty, question their loyalty. Number 5 is don't ignore red flags. Well, when I talked about this in past videos, the way that I like to illustrate this the most is imagine it's dark outside. I mean, just pitch black. You can't see anything. There are red flags. You're just not seeing them because it's too dark. And then the sun begins to rise. Then it becomes bright outside and you can see all the red flags. But if you let the narcissist into your life at sunrise, you didn't see those red flags. You got to wait until the sun rises, then you can see them. So what I've experienced in my life, yeah, I saw the red flags after it was too late. After the narcissist came in my life and ruined as much as they possibly could, took all the supply they possibly could take. And then looking back, okay, now I got 20/20 eyesight, but yeah, what good is that? You know, now I can see the crash. I can see how it happened. I can see what maneuvers I should have done to avoid it. But that doesn't solve the problem. It just illuminates the problem and teaches me don't do this again. So we need to watch out for those red flags. And again, got a video on that. You need to watch it. Number 6 is don't give them fodder. Now, when we talk about fodder, I actually looked this word up when I was preparing my notes for this video because I wanted to make sure that I got it right. But fodder is food that you feed to, like, well, livestock, cows, horses. You feed them hay, right? I don't know. I'm not a farmer, but I think that's what you feed them. That's fodder. You don't want to feed the narcissist fodder. Well, how do you feed the narcissist fodder? I mean, it's something that doesn't mean a whole lot to you. I don't know about you, but I don't like to eat hay. Never tried it, but I'm guessing I don't like it. But you feed them information. That's the fodder. You feed them information, and it doesn't seem like a big deal to you, but to them, yeah, it's a big deal. You think you're just having a conversation because this is your buddy, this is your love interest. You can trust this person eminently, no worry whatsoever. Big mistake, huge mistake. Now, let's say you're having lunch with this guy or this woman, whoever it happens to be, and you happen to mention a mutual friend, and you're talking about them. It may not be negative or critical. You're just talking about them. You may be praising them. But the narcissist is storing all that information in his brain's databank. And he's going to use that against you. How is that possible? He could take good information. I was bragging about this person. How could the narcissist use that against me? Well, it's real simple. Number 1, he lies. And number 2, he distorts the truth. And then number 3, he omits parts of the truth. So he goes to this person that you were praising. The triangulation, he's recruiting a flying monkey, and he remembers what you said. And that part he gets right, a little bit of it. Enough to convince the third party that you actually had a conversation with a narcissist, who the third party doesn't know is a narcissist any more than you did. Maybe still don't. So the narcissist then gives credence to this information, but then he starts to add to it, he embellishes it, he makes it sound like you were trash talking this person. And the person believes the narcissist. People are believers. You know, we walk by faith, not by sight. We don't need evidence, all we need is a little bit of gossip, and we believe it. And that third person that you were praising so highly believes the narcissist because he got just enough right intentionally to be convincing. And now that third party that you were praising hates you because he sees you as a gossip. You were trash talking him. At least that's his false perception or her false perception. That is why you need to be so very careful not to give information to anybody. Be very careful what you say about others, even if you're being kind, even if you're being considerate. Something you should never talk about to anybody, ever. Maybe your closest family members, but outside of that, nah. That is your finances. Somehow, some way, the narcissist will figure out a way to use that against you. Doesn't matter if you're rich or poor, or somewhere in between. he or she, the narcissist, will figure out a way to exploit that. They may try to take advantage of you later if they know that you're flat broke. They may try to put you in a situation, a tough financial situation, for the intention of hurting you and controlling you. If you are not flat broke, they may try to figure out a way to extract money from you. This happens all the time. I mean, there are people who made a lot of money and spent a lot of time in prison for doing this. Bernie Madoff comes to mind. Talk about a narcissist. But there are a lot of Bernies out there who are small-scale Bernies. I mean, it may not be billions of dollars. It may be $100 or even less. It may not be money at all. It may be, I need to borrow this and I'm not going to ever give it back. It may be a business transaction that he doesn't live up to his end on. And maybe, guess what? He's buying dinner. Yeah, that could be a mistake. I've done that before, where I've gone out to eat with people. I forgot my wallet, and I came across as a narcissist. So it could be a false flag. But when it happens time after time after time after time, yeah, they're taking advantage of you because they think that you have the financial means to cover it. Again, geez, I wish I could go back 50, 60 years and learn what I've learned up to this point. But that's not how life works. Closest we can get to that is guys my age do YouTube videos and say, hey, this is what I've learned over the years, both in experience and from my studies, and I'm just sharing these things with you so that maybe I can help you out a little bit. And if you want to hear more, all you got to do is click on one of those two rectangles that you see at the right of the screen, and our conversation keeps on going as long as you want it to. But if not, well, thanks for stopping by, and we will see you all next time.